Hey y'all, how are y'all doing? So today I'll be not reviewing because this guy doesn't know work. I'll be showing you guys the inside of the turbo rig. I haven't seen any videos of this and I want to show a video just in case if like somebody opens this guy up and wants to like fix it. Let's pretend like your thing doesn't rise up. It only like it just slips, like it doesn't even go up. Or this thing doesn't go up. Well, don't worry, I'll be showing you it right now. Only takes 6 screws right here, not here. You don't have to take these out to remove this. Yeah. So this is the inside of the turbo rig. You got your board. This is the board that all of the guts connect. And that board up there is of course the board. Wait, what? It's the button board. Well, it's of course the board. It's just the board. It doesn't need a name. It's just a board. Okay. Anyways, this is the piston gearbox. I forgot the name. It's okay. It's not really a gearbox, but this is what makes these pistons up here so red things hop up or jump up and down. You got your standard spring in the middle. The little thing in the middle is actually clear. If you can't see that, it's clear. And then you got your worm gear and your gear for this. Has 2 incandescent bulb lights right here, 2. And here's the motor right here. It has one of those black capacitors, another black capacitor, and a resistor, and that resistor is for the lights. It works. This motor works. And you can see I've already greased it up. This was when like I first got it. And here are the front lights. Of course, this one doesn't have it. This one doesn't have a light because it burned out when I was holding it down. I'll talk about why this guy doesn't have wires connecting to it. But this is the board right here. The board obviously where everything connects. And here's this thing. I mean, we can take a look at it actually. These 2 are for the speakers. And this is for the turbo, or the motor to connect the turbo. These are for the lights. Wait, are they? Or, wait, hold up. And then I go up here. What was this? Okay, it bends now. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, these are for the lights right here. These are for the lights. And this one is for this little trigger right here. I'll talk about that later. And there's supposed to be two blue lights connecting here, but of course, this guy doesn't have a bulb. I would flip it over, but I don't want to do that. But yeah, this is the, where all the good stuff are. Now I'll talk about this actually. So, you remember that one video that I posted where the video was kind of like a YouTube short? Kind of, not really. Where I talk about how this guy was like moving on its own, or the lights were flickering while this thing was like kind of moving like this, like wanting to move. Well, after that video, I took out the battery cover, and when I touched the batteries, they were very hot. Like extremely hot. So of course I panicked. I removed the batteries and I was like, oh crap, did the board just burn out or something? Opened up the board, touched it. It was cold. Like it was cold. Like there was no heat at all. But then I went like, oh, I'll just touch, what about the capacitor right here? Because there is a capacitor. I'll touch that. Cold. But the strange part is that the speaker was hot. It was really hot. And that was like, in my mind, I'm like, wait, how is that possible? Because if you really, because like, if the batteries are hot, it's mostly the board that overheats. But the strange part is that the speaker was hot. It's just strange. It's really strange. I don't know. I still don't get it to this day why that happened. So of course I removed the wires to the speaker. I also want to talk about another thing. You know how no, have you guys noticed when someone presses one of the buttons on these older turbo rigs, the lights like flicker for like a second? Well, I was talking to Expo about this like 2 months ago, I think. And he told me that he actually doesn't know why that happens at all. He doesn't know why. He thinks it might have been something in the factory, which I think so too. Maybe they saw the problem and were like, it still works. Let's just leave it like that for now. And then like a year or like a couple years later, I guess like 3 years later, when they introduced the Rotorpress brand on the tires, they noticed that the problem was getting worse for the turbo rigs. Like they weren't starting at all. And then they went like, yeah, how about we just upgrade everything? And that's what they did. But they still kept a little light. Or maybe back then they just didn't know how to fix it. But it still worked like better this time. And you want to know something else too? This is another part that I talked about with Expo. Have you noticed that the older versions, the audio sounds a lot more open and clearer than the newer version that sound a lot more muffled? That's just so strange. I think this is the only Rotorpress that does that, right? Because it's usually, Expo told me this, it's usually the older ones that sound very like choppy and like muffled, and then the newer ones sound a lot more clearer, more better audio. I don't get that. I don't get this to this. I just don't get it. How is that possible? Like how is the older ones a lot more clearer, open, and just better in audio, but the newer ones, they sound bad. They just sound very muffled. And also, the older ones sound a lot more realistic. Because when it's driving, when you press the turbo rig, the turbo button, and when it's driving forward, and once it stops, it goes like, unlike the newer ones, the audio sounds cramped. When it's driving, here's the example again. When it's driving, it goes like, it immediately jumps to the other audio. I don't like that. I don't like how the newer ones do that. The older ones I would say the older ones are better because, like I said, the audio sounds a lot more realistic. It's a lot more like apart than the older ones are. No, the newer ones are a lot more close together. I don't get it. How can you mess up that bad, to be honest? How can you mess up the audio that bad? I don't know. And then we got the type of Rotorpress that I would call a mistake. What Rotorpress am I talking about? The turbo rigs that don't have this thing rising up. Those are a mistake. To me personally, those are mistakes. They should have never, ever been manufactured. I think that was their like last attempt to make a turbo rig, which sucked because like it doesn't even drive that far. When you hear the audio, it doesn't drive at all. I think it's one of the turbo rigs that legit doesn't drive that far because the audio just sounds cut. Like it goes like cut, and then and it starts doing the shake. And also another thing, the back part doesn't even rise up. Like when you push the turbo button, it doesn't. It sounds like it's rising, but it's not. It's just like this. It's literally like this. I don't know. Those are mistakes. Me personally, I don't like those. If I ever get one, I'm using it for parts. Like, I don't care how beautiful it is, how the chrome is nice. Actually, if the chrome is nice, I'll switch this. But I'm not gonna switch it. As you can see, the chrome is beautiful. But enough with that. Actually, just one more thing. One more thing I want to talk about. Yeah. I know people have been wondering this, and I'll tell you it now, because I think Xfel told me this. I don't know if he did. Or maybe I told him. I don't remember. But oh my god, I can't talk. You guys might be wondering this. Why did you buy this guy for $125? I don't know how much it cost, I forgot. Oh, to be honest with you, I thought this guy would be huge. The reason why I bought it was such of a rip-off price is because, like, I thought this guy was the size of a Cadillac Escalade. Come on, let's be real here. We all thought that this guy was huge. Because look, turbos in the back, pistons in the front. You guys would think like this guy would be the size of a voice control Hummer. Or a Cadillac Escalade. Wheels are wild. Honestly, if it was that big, it would be huge. My dad came in. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah. Like, I honestly thought this guy was huge. That's the reason why I bought it with such an insane price, because I thought this guy was huge. But oh man, this guy is not big. In camera, looking at, like, as you guys look at it right now, it might not look small. You guys think like it would be the size of a, I don't know, voice controller. This guy is small. Like, the size of this is so disappointing to me. When I got it, I was like, what? It's that small? Even my review video, I didn't post because it shows my address, the box. But I literally went like, wait, it's actually smaller than I thought. It's not that big. I wish I didn't buy it with that price, but I also don't regret buying it because it's in great condition. Like, besides the board, everything is like in awesome condition. The chrome is nice, the paint is beautiful. It's perfect. It's perfect. I'll compare it, hold up. I'll compare it to this guy. Literally the size of a Top Tune comeback. This thing rises like probably up here. But this thing is small. This thing is so small. It even has a small speaker. I thought this guy had like a big speaker. I'm a little disappointed, but you know, it is what it is. I think that's all I need to say for that. Anyways, let's get to another part that I wanted to show. Let me just move this. Let's talk about this guy right here. This is the turbo. This is everyone's favorite gimmick of the vehicle. The turbo. It's honestly my favorite. I love it. I love when it rises up and it hops up and down. The older ones hop faster, I believe, and then the newer ones don't. And also, this is the type of color. This is the color I've been wanting for years. Ever since I saw the commercial version, I was like, dang, I want that. I want that so bad. So this is what we have with this guy right here. So we have a long spring. Not really, when it decompresses like that. You got this little solid rod right here and a gear. And a trigger right here. So what this does is that, let me zoom out. Is there like a flashlight I can ding? Yeah. Well, I guess that's better. But this is how this thing works. When you press the lightning bolt button, it of course starts to rise, and this gear right here rises and rises and rises and rises and rises. And then once it goes like all the way up here, like all the way that it touches this plastic part, this rod stops it in place, and then this lever right here shuts down. And when it shuts down, it actually hops up and down. I think you can see that right there. There's like little plastic part right there, and that helps it hop up and down. And there's actually like a little spring right here too. This thing's a little satisfying when you see that. But yeah, there's like a little lever right here, not lever, but like a little plastic part. So when this thing shuts down, bro, the gearbox in this is really strange. Well, not really strange, but it's like, it's a little complicated. But I was able to fix this guy up. So yeah, when it goes all the way up, this lever stops it. Or no, this little, stops it from going up, because of course if it kept on going up, it would snap this thing in half. And then, because the motor is going really fast, the lever shuts down, and then it starts hopping up and down. And then when it's all done, it goes down. It goes, wait. So once it's done, this thing goes back down, and then this lever immediately goes back up. And it goes down, and it reaches this switch right here. And if you look closely, open the light. If you look closely right here, hold up. There's like a little plastic part right here. And that's the switch right here. And this plastic part touches the switch. So once it's down, it touches the switch and it shuts off the motor. Because if it kept on going, well, it would have damaged it. It would have damaged the teeth and possibly the motor. Or not the motor, the gear. So this is a good thing. I honestly thought, in my head, I thought these guys worked like this. I thought like it had like a row of teeth like right here, like exposed. And like the gearbox was kind of like this. It was like this. Like that, and it would rise up like down here and then go up and up and up and up and up and up, like that. I didn't expect to have this or this part, but yeah, when it touches that lever, it stops it and it's all good. I remember seeing this one video of this guy testing out his turbo rig. It was a blue one and it had the rotable tires. And when it stopped and said turbo disengaged, it went down. And I think I don't know if maybe he didn't, maybe he placed the lever a different way. I don't know what happened, but oh my god, just ignore what I just said. At the end of the video, when this thing was going down, it made like a very tight sound, like that. And he panicked. He was like, "Uh-oh," and it wouldn't go up. Like it would go up like the first time, like it would go up and up and up, and then he pressed the circle, which honestly I don't think he should have done that. And it went down, and then went like, and that's when it just didn't want to work afterwards. White light. I think he kind of busted it. I hope the turbo rig is all good though, because that's insane. I wish I had the turbo rig, to be honest. Anyways, let me tell you another story. When I first got this, this guy right here was it didn't want to work, or it wouldn't stay on. I mean, like this thing was sliding up and down freely, and I thought like, oh, the gear must have slipped. But nope, the original gear that was there, it like burst apart. It burst apart. Let me even show you that gear. This was the original gear. Yep. That was the original gear. You can see it burst apart. Why did it burst apart? Well, these axles right here are too big for the motor. I actually had to drill mines like a little bit wide to put it in there, because when I glued this gear back together and just tried to fit it in there, it bust open again. Like, just trying it bust apart. I don't know why they did this, but the axles and the gearbox in this guy and this guy right here, they're too big for these gears. I think they hammered the gears down to make them fit, which was pretty bad because of course that causes stress and that could of course blow up the gear, not like, but like, you know, bust it apart. White light. Yeah, let me tell you, when I opened this guy up, there was so many cracked gears. It was insane. I think there was like 6 cracked gears in this guy. That's what happens. You just don't do that. I don't know who thought about that, but you low-key should have been fired. Anyways, we're reaching to the end of the video. I want to say something else. Wait, close the light. I honestly think that the older ones have more problems. Well, of course they do. I don't know why. Well, I feel like these guys right here, these guys that don't have the Rotobers brand on the tires, have the most problem. Like, than the other ones, like the ones that have the Rotobers brand on the tires. These only ones have the most problems because, one, they don't want to work. Well, I think this is the most problem that all these have. That when you push the button down, it just doesn't want to work like mine's. Let me tell you, when I first got mine's, I held the button down for like 10 minutes straight. But like just the turbo button for 10 minutes straight. The lights were lighting up, but it didn't want to turn on. I think I remember that there was that one video on YouTube where like this guy was showing his blue turbo rig. It was the same one as mine's. Like, it didn't have the Rotobers tires on the tires. And his didn't want to work at all. I mean, it did, but like it took a while to work. The 4 button instantly worked, but the other buttons, he had to like really squish the buttons down to work. The lights didn't even like light up. They were like kind of like glowing. They were like this, and they were just kind of like lighting up like this. Same thing in the back. These older ones have the most problems. So if you ever get your hands on one of these and it works, like great, like just works just like a single button like that, a single tap of the button, push the button, you're lucky. You are lucky, and I'm jealous. I think all of us are jealous. But if you get one and it doesn't want to work, no matter how long you held the button down, well, I think you're going to have to wait until another turbo rig pops up on eBay. And you're going to have to use that for parts, or you're going to have to use this guy for parts. Honestly, I would never use this guy for parts, because it's just too good. I want to show you guys something, since the video is coming to an end. I think people have this problem a lot. When they try to put this guy back together, they usually can't, which is a common problem, because these guys are very difficult to put back together because of, it's not here that's difficult, it's mostly like in the back. It's very tight. Like, you like actually need to shove it in there. Hold up, let me try to. Is this my first try, actually? You need like this part right here. You need this part to cover right here. then you need to push it down. Ooh. First try. First try. Well, it wasn't that difficult than I thought. Well, yeah. Most people just have problems of putting this guy back together because of this part right here. It's very tight. But mine was pretty easy. Well, that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. See ya.